Greetings friends, it's Zera, back with another video. Today we want to just dive in real quick into pre-raid BiS for Phase 3, which is upcoming next week. This is for those hunters that have decided to re-roll, or maybe they want to transfer to a new server, or start a new tune, not really sure where to start. So this is videos for you guys. Please sit back, grab some popcorn, and enjoy the show. But before we get into it, let's roll that intro. Alright fellas, let's jump right into it. This is going to be pretty straightforward. There's not really a whole lot to expound here from previous pre-raid BiS videos that I've done. Now before I get started, I just want to give a shout out to my boys from my Giant Stalker versus Dragon Stalker video that just can't help themselves. We're talking about PvP gear. You guys are awesome. I love you guys, and everything you're saying is 100% true. There's a lot of little nifty little combinations you can do that can be better in given situations, and in some cases are just outright better. The only situation is that was a T1 versus T2 discussion. Be looking forward to a PvP discussion, so be sure that you are subscribed and you hit the notification bell. We'll be talking about that in the very next week. But before we get to that, let's talk about pre-raid BiS for Phase 3. Now, as you can already see, I've already got it kind of mapped out here, but we'll go from top to bottom. Again, not a whole lot has changed. I don't really focus on PvP gear very much, but having said that, things like Don Julio's Ben and Bloodseeker, these are quest lines and rep grinds in PvP. They're not so much, they don't have anything to do with, you know, whether you're, you know, a private, a corporal, a knight captain, marshal, warlord. It has nothing to do with that. These weapons are purely, or these items rather, are purely quest lines in Altered Valley and rep grinds in Altered Valley. And honestly, you don't necessarily have to be a great PvPer. You just have to slug your way through AV for maybe a week, and boom, you'll have these items no problem. So, but with that said, let's start from the top. As normal, Backwood Helm. This is by far and away, again, outside of your PvP. This is not a PvP-centric video. We'll do one next week. But outside of your PvP-centric areas, Backwood Helm is by far and away your best option. It's pretty clear. You don't need the extra 2% hit from Mask of Unforgiven, and you already gain a crit, so you also gain 42 attack power and 21 agility, which is close to half crit as well. So you typically get about almost 1.5% crit here and 42 attack power. This is really, really nice. This is by far and away just a runaway pre-raid BiS selection for us. Moving on to the neck, nothing's really changed here either. Mark of the Ford Ring, by far and away your best pre-raid BiS option. Amulet of the Dark Moon is a great option here. I mean, 19 attack power, you know, that's the equivalent to, you know, 38 attack power. It's an amazing option. You can't really do much worse than Amulet of the Dark Moon. So if you want to go with the Amulet and lose a little bit of crit but gain quite a bit more attack power, that's up to you. I'm not going to knock you. This is probably better for Alliance than it is Horde, just simply because of the fact that we obtain Blessing of Kings from our Paladins, which is a flat 10% increase to our stats, which is going to affect that 19 agility. So if you want to be that guy that wants to do the Dark Moon Fairy, you have fun doing that kind of stuff, by all means, go for the Amulet. It's all up to you. But for me, personally, I would probably just stick with Mark of the Ford Ring. You get a full % more crit and not much less attack power, but a difference of maybe 12 attack power in total. True Strike, by far and away, your best option. Again, outside of PvP circles, you don't get any better than this. One can make an argument for something like Worm Tongue, but you know, I've never actually seen these drop. It says 20% off of Balnazar and Strat Live, but I personally would just avoid them. I know True Strike is kind of aids to try and pick up, but let's be honest, you know, you can run in and do Ubers with some guildies, kill the first boss, run out, reset, do it again. Like, you could probably do that because you have to get that initial gauntlet of orcs and dragonkins before you can get to the first boss in Ubers. You could probably reset that fight in a case of about 15 minutes, and you could probably just continuously do it. So these would be these are super easy to grind for. I know, like, people are like, there's memes about it never dropping, but trust me, it's one of the easiest items in the world to farm out of Ubers. 2% hit, 24 attack power, amazing. Cannot cannot say anything bad about this situation. Cape of the Black Baron. This is AIDS to try and get your hands on. It's literally the last boss in UD Strat. It's a 14% drop rate. I've only ever seen them drop 3 times in the times that I've run UD Strat, and when I finally got them, I've been playing for 4 months straight. It was just terrible, terrible, terrible. Like, from the moment it launched in August to me hitting 62 weeks later, I didn't get these until, like, literally right before or right after Christmas. So it took almost 4 solid months of farming. This ain't no joke. If you can't get your hands on Cape of the Black Baron, like if you're just having a hell of a time trying to get them, again, this is all pre-BiS, then, you know, my next best advice is to find a leather worker that can hook you up with Shifting Cloak. It'll give you 17 agility, which is better than anything else you're able to get your hands on. There's not really much else. I mean, there's other options. Like, I had the Dark Phantom Cape for a while because I had the 15 agility, and I was just missing out on the 20 attack power. So it's a good option. The rest of these are just going to keep going further and further and further down the list. So my best advice, if you can't get your hands on Cape of the Black Baron, try to get Shifting Cloak made for yourself. If you're a leather worker already, you're already got one foot in the door, so good luck. But if you can, I would encourage you to keep farming Cape of Black Baron. For the chest piece, you do have a couple of options here. Ogre Forged Hauberk is by far is just a runaway pre-BiS favorite of a lot of hunters. But Savage Gladiator Chain is available. It's a super low drop rate. You got a 15% chance off of 1 in 6 chance of getting the exact boss you need for the arena. I've personally never seen these drop. I even farmed these for myself for about a month and a half, and I just gave up. I had a lot of warrior friends that ran BRD. I had one guy who literally counted over 370-something BRD attempts before he finally got his. So if you really want to punish yourself, or if you want it for completionist's sake, go ahead, knock yourself out. But otherwise, I would just stick with the Ogre Forged Hauberk. Very easy. Dire Maul North, Tribute Run. Super easy. Knock it out. And couple of days. You can even solo this if you want to, not a problem. The bracers of the Eclipse, by far and away a runaway favorite. I know a lot of people are probably gonna be like, oh my gosh, like you could get slash claw bracers, there's 1% hit. Yes, but as you'll soon find out, you don't need that hit, and you get raw attack power, you get raw agility. By far and away your best option here. Just go into DM West, knock this out, get these, you won't regret it. We're going to come back to the weapons here in a minute. I got the BSHs here. We'll come back to these in a minute, okay? Bloodseeker we've already talked about. This is by far and away your runaway best in slot, or pre-raid best in slot. Crossbow, you've got the time. It's got awesome time. It's got +7 agility. Carapace crossbow is a good second choice. It's not too far behind Bloodseeker, so if you end up picking up Carapace Spine before you pick up Bloodseeker, and you're like, okay, I'm happy with Carapace Spine, that's awesome, that's great. Again, can't go wrong with that. But Bloodseeker, if you do want to, squeak out that last little bit of pre-BiS, go right ahead. I know a lot of people are like, well, you could go ahead and get Core Marksman Rifle. I'm like, yeah, you could, but at the same time, that's not technically pre-BiS. Yes, you can get it before you actually physically step foot into the raid, but you're going to be clipping your auto shots. You do get raw attack power. It does give you a chance to hit, but in this build you're not going to need the hit, and you'll soon find out why. It's just, I don't think it's worth the gold. I don't think it's worth the mats. So if you have those mats, hold on to them for something really great down the line, and go ahead and just pick up either Bloodseeker or Carapace Spine crossbow. That way you won't be clipping yourself. Moving on to the gloves. The True Aim gauntlets, I've been kind of neglecting these recently. I haven't really talked about them in other pre-raid BiS videos. And I feel like that's an injustice to these gloves. These gloves really are great. As a matter of fact, I believe for the longest time, the world first, #1 parsing hunter in the world in Classic is still rocking these. And it's easy to see why. With the +8 to range weapons of bows, cruns, crossbows, and also the 1% chance to hit, these are literally granting you 4% chance to hit, which explains why with only 6% hit, you don't need Biznix, you don't need slash claw bracers. Like, you have more than enough hit right here just with what we've got. So True Aim gauntlets are amazing. Yes, they don't really offer much else besides hit. but you slap +7 agility on those things, and they are, you know, right up there with things like Voon's Vice Grips and Gauntlets of Accuracy. I mean, you literally cannot go wrong here. What this does is allows you to really just squeak out as much damage as humanly possible by not having to sacrifice, you know, agility or attack power for hit, and it also allows you to slap on +7 damage to your crossbow instead of putting on Biznix to achieve. And it also allows you, this is another key thing, it also allows you to go straight into putting maximum points into Beast Mastery after putting all 31 points into Marksmanship. That way you squeeze out even more damage from your pet because you don't have to go after sure-footed. This is clutch, especially in pre-raid BiS settings. Your belt, we're going to go for Warpwood Binding. Again, like you can't beat this. Dire Maul West, again, 1% chance to crit, 14 agility. There's not much else that can be said here. Nothing that else can be said here. You've got other pieces that are really nice. You get a +44 attack power, +42 attack power. These are great options, and if you want to go ahead and get your hands on these instead of Warpwood, feel free to. You get, you know, far more raw attack power, but you lose out on a % chance to crit. So as far as what you believe, you have to make the decision for yourself. There's a give or take about 30 to 34 ranged attack power is equivalent to 1% chance to crit. So Warpwood Binding gives us 14 agility, which is about 28 ranged attack power on top of 1% chance to crit. And 14 agility actually equivalates to about maybe a fifth, maybe less, just maybe a little bit more than a fifth % chance to crit. So you're talking about 1.2% chance to crit with 28 attack power, as opposed to no crit chance and 44 attack power, or no % chance to crit and 42 attack power. Honestly, I think Warpwood's going to win here in the landslide, but again, if you have these belts, then you can make that decision for yourself whether you want to burden yourself by running into DM West, because it probably won't be very difficult for you to get into a couple of MC runs and pick up a Giant Stalker, or even BWL and pick up Dragon Stalker. But if you're going for the absolute best pre-raid BiS for Phase 3 as a hunter, Warpwood Binding is where you're going. And these leggings, now I'm going to get a lot of flack for this. These legs. Now, if you can get your hands on the Plague Hound leggings, go for it. These are absolutely incredible. These are the best pre-raid BiS legs you can get as a hunter, hands down. The only problem is that I've never seen these drop. I asked everybody in the guild over the last couple of weeks in preparation for this video, saying, hey guys, like, has anybody seen this drop? I had one person in 300 plus roster tell me, hey, I've actually seen those drop, but they only drop once. And I was like, oh my god, that is ridiculous, because you could easily sell these for like 200, 250 gold easily. These are high price. I mean, just look at the comparison between this and Dragon Stalker. Dragon Stalker is 31 agility, 1% chance to hit, 1% chance to crit. This is 30 agility, 1% chance to hit. So literally, you're getting 1 less agility and 1% chance to crit. Now, don't get me wrong, that 1% chance to crit is big, but I mean, virtually 1% chance to crit is the difference between a tier 2 legs and a blue that drops off as strat trash. I mean, this is ridiculous. This does drop off of Strathome trash, and it is a super low drop rate. So if you can't obviously get your hands on these, then your next best effort is to just check the auction house for these Windrunner leg guards. They are a world drop. They're plus 27 agility. Yes, the Spirit doesn't really do a whole lot for us, but these are by far and away your best option. Now, the first thing, I know everybody's going to go to this point. It's like, Zera, why don't you just go with Devilsaur and go ahead and worry about putting on, you know, just going into sure-footed way where you get more crit, you get more attack power. I'm like, sure, absolutely, you can do that. Better yet, you could get rid of Backward Helm and you could go with Mask of Unforgiven and have 9% chance to hit and have Bloodseeker. But me, personally, I never wore Devilsaur, never needed to, but if you wanted to mix things up and go for the Devilsaur set and slap on Mask of the Unforgiven, there you go. You have 9% chance to hit without even breaking a sweat. Never have to go into sure-footed. So that option is there for you. I'm not saying you're wrong here. I'm just saying for me, unless I'm a Skinner, which, you know, is very viable for a hunter, you can get your own Devilsaur set, build it, make it yourself. But if you're having to depend on buying it, I wouldn't waste my time with it personally. I would just go in, farm these dungeons, get these pieces, and move on and have a wonderful day. But for me, the great thing about having, and now I have to find these gloves again, if I can even find them. There they are. So the great thing about the true aim gauntlets is simply because of the fact that they give you so much versatility. Like, I could sacrifice hit basically anywhere I wanted to and not have to worry about it. As long as I had, you know, tarnished elven rings ×2 or a Don Julio's band mixed in there, and then, you know, maybe had the true strike shoulders. That's literally, with these gloves, that's 8% chance to hit right there out of the gate. That's 2, that's 4, that's another 4, that's 8% chance to hit. I mean, you only have to get 1% hit elsewhere. That is ridiculous. So these gloves just offer a great deal of versatility and a lot of opportunity for you to switch out pieces elsewhere pretty easily. So that's why I prefer the true aim gauntlets, which means if you don't have the Devil Star set, you might as well go with the next best thing. The Windrunner leg guards is going to grant you 0.5% chance to crit, and it's also going to grant you well over 50 ranged attack power. And by comparison, yeah, you lose about 0.5% chance to crit, but you get 8 more attack power, and you don't have to depend on the 2-piece set bonus. So for me, this is your best combination for versatility's sake. Now, Windreaver Greaves, you've got literally the best boots for pre-raid BiS. There's not anything else to be said here. Yes, do you need that hit? Not necessarily. You could drop this and still have 9% chance to hit, but again, it's all about that versatility. Personally, if you were going for raw attack power, raw agility, Mongoose Boots with +7 agility is a great option. Beastalker is also not a bad choice here. You get more agility and more stamina than you would against Windreaver, but you lose that chance to hit, which is more versatility. Again, we've talked about the rings: Don Julio's Tarnished Elven Ring, Royal Seal, Black Hand's Breath. Trinkets, rings haven't changed, and we all know why. Now, this is your realistic. This is like, you know, give or take, replace True Aim Gauntlets and Windrunner leg guards with Devil Star set, replace Backwood Helm with the, what is it called again? I'm brain farting all of a sudden. Mask of the Unforgiven out of UD strat, or excuse me, live strat. Those are probably your most interchangeable pieces. Everything else here is pretty solid, but I told you we would come back to the weapons. The weapons is really where I want to spend a good deal of time here. The weapons, there's a lot of debate on what is actually going to be pre-raid BiS for hunters moving forward, because a lot of us are rocking, like without even questioning, we're rocking Barbarous Blade, +9 intellect, best option, period. Some people want to argue that Lockdalar is the best right now just because of the raw crit. I'm like, look, there's really no wrong answer here, but if you're going for like consistently higher numbers, you're going to want to rock Barbarous Blade. That raw attack power is just unbeatable. So the only other thing that I would get to is the fact that, yes, Brutality Blade and CHT are our raid BiS moving into P3, but most of us don't have these. Rogues and warriors are going to be fighting over these. You're not getting your hands on these, and my guess is you will never get your hands on these, so just anticipate going into ZG still wearing a blue set like Dalrins or, you know, dual BSHs, and then hopefully you might be able to pick up something like Doom's Edge and Dragon Fang Blade combo in BWL. But with that being said, let's get in here and actually look at some of these one-handers. So Bone Slicing Hatchet's a great option, but we'll get to that here in a minute. The first and by far best set that you can have for pre-raid BiS is going to be the Dalrin set. Now, a lot of people are going to ask, well, why in the world is that so? Like, why is this so much better? Well, I'll give you an example why this is better. So obviously you're going to enchant everything with +15 agility, one-hander. That's the big reason why we're doing this. So now you've got 30 agility, which is over a 0.5% chance to crit, and also 60 attack power. So right off the bat, Dalrin's going to have, just with enchants alone, is going to have as much attack power as Barbarous Blade did by default. And then you add the 2-piece set bonus that gives you another 50 ranged attack power. Now you have 110 ranged attack power and a whole 1% chance to crit. Yeah, the defense, the armor, the strength, you're not getting anything from that in PvE. But in the situation where you're comparing just raw numbers, 110 attack power with essentially 1.5% chance to crit when you include the enchants, that is incredible. That is absolutely insane. It cannot get much better than that. But now let's take a look at your second best option. First of all, this is your best situation. This is your best case scenario. If you're looking for pre-raid BiS, P3, Hunters, Dalrin set is your moneymaker. That's what you want. Now, if you cannot seem to get that, here's the thing. I want to show you the next best option for us. Rib Splitter right here, combined with a Bone Slicing Hatchet. Now, here's the thing. Right now, this just says Rib Splitter, random enchantment, plus 10 attack power, and then Bone Slicing Hatchet, which is plus 13 agility and plus 5 stamina. The thing about the Rib Splitter of agility is that it has multiple different random enchants on it. You've got of the eagle, of the boar, of the tiger, of the bear, so on and so forth. The one you're looking for as a hunter for pre-raid BiS is of the agility. It's plus 11 agility on top of the plus 10 attack power. So if you're looking at the math, that's going to be upwards to 22 attack power, plus 10 is 32 attack power, and also, then you have to factor in the enchant of the agility on top of that, which is another 30 range attack power. The Rib Splitter of agility is absolutely incredible. Matter of fact, most of them are selling on my server about 400 gold a pop. This is quite literally the closest thing in pre-raid BiS you can get that you can just swipe from the auction house. It's pretty incredible. If you get this, you hold on to this, because this can make you a lot of money. And if you're a hunter, go ahead and slap it on your main hand and grab a BSH in your offhand, and you're golden. So, Bone Slicing Hatchet plus 13 agility, Rib Splitter plus 11 agility. So you're talking about, 26, 48 range attack power, and then you're also talking about another 60 on top of it. You're about 108 ranged attack power with well into 1% chance to crit. So this is, again, that is right up there with the Dalrin set. It was nipping on the heels of the Dalrin set. So Rib Splitter of agility, Bone Slicing Hatchet, that is your second go-to combination. Now, if you can't get the Rib Splitter and you can't get Dalrin set, then the one that I recommend the most to everybody who's struggling right now is just BSHs. Just get dual BSHs. You'll be walking around with 26 agility plus 30 agility, 56 agility. It's 112 range attack power and 1 full % chance to crit. This is nipping on the heels of Dalrin's and also the Rib Splitter of agility and BSH. These three combinations are quite literally neck and neck with each other. Dalrin's beats them both out because not only does it have a little bit more range attack, but also has that full 0.5% chance to crit more than the other two. But these first three sets, literally, you cannot go wrong. And BSH is probably the easiest, obviously, the ones to get, because you can just simply run UD Strat over and over and over. It's a 20% drop chance off of Malecki. I think he is the third or fourth boss in UD Strat. Pretty straightforward. I got both of mine in 1 day's worth of farming, so no difficulty here. Now, things get a little tricky at this point. There's no excuse for not getting dual-wielding BSHs. There's really not, unless you've just got the most horrible luck in the world. But there is good news. If you are having really bad luck with Bone Slicing Hatchet, you're most likely going to get some help from an unlikely ally, and that is the Bone Scraper. Now, you probably would not use Bone Scraper in your main hand, but let's just put it there for the sake of putting it there. 30 attack power, no other stats. But you slap plus 15 agility on that sucker, and now you're looking at 60 attack power. So you're talking about 60 ranged attack power just from a dagger. So if you had two of these, because they're neither one of them, because it's not unique, it's much like the Bone Slicing Hatchet in this case. If you slap on two of them suckers, you have 120 ranged attack power without even breaking a sweat. And then you slap on the 30 agility from the enchants, and you've got a little bit more than a 0.5% chance to crit. Yes, it's not nearly as good as the other three combinations that I showed you guys, but it's not horrible, especially if you combine it with something along the lines of an Assassination's Blade or a Heartseeker or a Dawn's Edge. Let's just take a look. These are all plus strength, no other stats, and all three of them are plus 1% chance to crit. So you slap one of these bad boys on, and you're talking about having, what is that, 30 plus 30 plus 30 is 90 ranged attack power and 1 full % chance to crit on top of another 0.5% to crit. So we're talking about 90 ranged attack power with a full 1.5% chance to crit. This is a better combination, And the great thing about both Assassination's Blade, Heartseeker, and Dawn's Edge, these 3 are all either world drops or they're crafted. Yes, the mats for Heartseeker and Dawn's Edge are a little expensive, so you might want to just keep your eye out for the Assassination's Blade on the auction house. But this is not a bad combination. Bone Scraper and Assassination's Blade. Obviously, you would put the blade in the main hand and Bone Scraper in the offhand for the speed differences. But not a bad combination. Not a bad combination of all. And then my very last recommendation would be to either do a combination of double Bone Scrapers or do a combination of Assassination Blade times 2, or combine it with a Heartseeker or Dawn's Edge. So that would look something like this. Just dual Assassination Blade, or maybe Assassination Blade and a Dawn's Edge, or maybe a Dawn's Edge and a Heartseeker. It really doesn't matter, because these are going to give you both 60 ranged attack power and 2.5% chance to crit. So with that, guys, that just about wraps it up. There's not really a grand scheme of, one size fits all, but I try to do these videos in a way that gives you guys all the information you need, makes it as simple as possible. I don't want you guys to have to go out and try to nitpick where to go and what to do and all this other stuff. It needs to be very streamlined, and I feel like you can pick either combination. You can either go with the Backwood Helm with True Aim Gauntlets and Windrunner Leg Guards, or you can go with something like the Devil's Star set along with the Mask of Unforgiven, and either way, you can't go wrong. Either way, you're not required to get sure-footed, and either way, you can go straight into BM after you fill in marksmanship, do maximum amount of damage out of the gate. But I just feel like the True Aim Gauntlets combination with the Windrunner Leg Guards, and you don't even have to even mention the Windrunner Leg Guards, just the True Aim Gauntlets alone will give you the ability to not have to spend money on Biznix. You can just slap on a damage scope onto your weapon, and also gives you versatility to swap out other pieces without really having to worry about hit so much, because one piece of gear giving you 4% chance to hit is absolutely incredible. And I just want to clear up the 4% chance to hit, the math there. This is plus 8 to bows. Every time, the first time you hit 305 weapon skill, your hit cap goes from 9% automatically to 6%. It drops 3%. But actually, that 9% is like an extra point. Does that make sense? So you gotta have, you lose, this gives us 305 weapon skill. It actually gives us 308 weapon skill. So automatically our hit cap goes all the way down to 6%. And then you get an extra 1% chance to hit, so now your hit cap is down to only 5%. So you only needed to get 5% chance to hit elsewhere, and we've done that plus 1. So this combination is the best you can come up with. You can't really do much better. But the big thing is just the melee weapons. A lot of people want to nitpick and go at each other's throats over this. It's not really that difficult. Just apply a little bit of common sense. And if you really want to go after the Rib Splitter of Agility, it is a 6.8% chance of rolling of agility off of a less than 1% drop rate. So less than a almost like 5/100ths of a drop chance. 5/100ths of a single percent chance of dropping. We're talking like 4 out of 7,000, 12 out of 30,000, 9 out of 25,000. I mean, the drop rate is abysmally low, and that is just the Rib Splitter axe itself. That's not of agility. So if you happen to get it to drop, great. If not, don't sweat it. Just go after your dual BSHs, and you cannot go wrong. With that, guys, I love you guys as always. Be sure to check the links down below for all my information for social media and Twitch streaming. I'm going to stream there as often as I can this month. It's been really super busy. I'm actually going to my parents' place tomorrow to do some IT work there. And also, I have started an official playthrough of Final Fantasy VII to celebrate its release of the remake coming in April. So be sure to check that out up here. Hope you guys enjoy the video again. Love you as always. I'll see you in the next video. Zera out.